Hey everyone, it's Mike with It's Pittsfield Tonight. I'm going to jump right into it, and this is going to be a short one, but I did receive a lot of messages basically referencing the last video, or maybe even the last two videos, and the big topic being talked about now is trash in the city of Pittsfield and the tote system that is going to be implemented. Some of you went to a meeting that took place at the senior center. I think there's more coming up. Some evening ones coming up, and people had some questions about that. So I'm just real briefly, I felt the need to do this because after I received, I don't know, like 15 or 20 messages, I went and watched the video of that meeting, and I was actually kind of surprised at some of the stuff I heard. So the big one was, it is going to be a 48-gallon tote for trash and a 48-gallon tote for recycling. The reason that our Commissioner of Public Utilities, Commissioner Morales, and Mayor Marchetti said was because the truck has to be calibrated, I guess the arm for that. Very possible. I know one of the communities I lived in when I lived in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I've lived in a few communities that have the tote system. They had different size totes available, but the way they're made at the bottom part where the truck latches on, it was the same size. So it had grooves in it. So you had I think 4 different sizes there. You had like a 35, a 48, a 64 and a 96. I did 2 96s. So they're saying the way this will be done is it has to be calibrated for those. So you'll get 2 totes. One will be recycling, one will be trash, and they will both be 48-gallon. I think 48-gallon is way too small. That's just my opinion. I was married with no children, and I had 2 96s. Now, I didn't often use the second one, but I did almost every week fill that 96-gallon tote. And that could be just me. So one of the people in attendance during that video had asked, why don't we make it a bigger tote? Because here's the other side to that. If you need an additional one, it's $40 per quarter. So I was pretty close on that. I think I said it would be somewhere probably between 30 and 50, and it was right in the middle, $40 a quarter. So it'll be $160 a year for that second tote. And like I said, one of the people in attendance said, why don't you just offer a bigger tote? And Commissioner Morales said that the objective is to reduce the amount of trash. Now that surprised me because I thought the big part of this would be organization and to prevent littering, and then where it would reduce trash would not be on the homeowners or the residents, but it would stop people from dumping trash on trash days in certain neighborhoods. And we all know that that happens. You can go down certain neighborhoods and you'll see trash piles so big, there's no way that they're all coming from that residence. And I think there's certain areas of the city where people might come in from surrounding communities and they put their garbage there in front of other people's houses, in front of, with their trash. So it would eliminate that. That's how I thought it could reduce trash. But I don't understand how it reduces trash for the resident and the consumer, unless you're telling them to buy less stuff, which is insane to me if that's the logic. That's basically saying spend less money in the local economy. That didn't make sense to me at all. So that was a little bit confusing. I agree that it should be at least a 64-gallon, but that's just my opinion. I am going to reach out maybe to someone at Casella. I'd more than welcome Commissioner Morales if he wanted to do an interview. Hopefully he sees this or someone shares it to him, and he's more than welcome to come on and do an interview. I'd love to ask him some of those questions myself, but if not, that's also understandable. I don't think he's a big fan of mine, but I did hear that there would be a couple more of these public meetings, that was a daytime one, and then there's going to be some that are in the evening. Another thing he said at that was very confusing to me was he said you don't have to make sure that the lid is closed. That really confused me, because anywhere that I've lived that they use a tote system, they tell you make sure the lid is closed. And some of them, there's a fill line inside that you shouldn't go over. Because if the lid is not closed, when the arm comes out and grabs it and you have bags piled on top of that, those bags are going to fall on the ground. And on top of it, without that lid being closed, you're going to get crows and squirrels and animals that will get in there and rip the garbage open, and you're going to have garbage all over the ground. If we're going to do this, I would think you do it right. And you want, one of the key factors that should come into play with this is you want to reduce littering. You want to reduce trash on the sidewalks and in the streets, because that just creates more work for people and it makes the city look bad. So I was really confused by that. I believe you want the lid closed. And then last but not least, one of the things that was mentioned is a few people said, well, I have a very long driveway. And they were told, and I saw some city councilors that shared a post showing, they told them to get a tow hitch, that you could put a tow hitch on your vehicle and tow it that way. That was absolutely ridiculously crazy to me. Now, if you have a tow hitch and you have a truck or a large SUV, I guess you could do that. There are adapters that would work, but all you have to do, and I explained this to someone, I had a long driveway, and this is what I did. I took a piece of rope, and you can also use a wooden dowel if you want on there to stabilize it, but I took a piece of rope, like nylon rope, parachute cord type rope. And you know those noodles, those foam noodles that you use in swimming pools? I bought one of those for a couple dollars and cut two sections out of it. I ran the rope through one end and tied it, and then on the other end, and I put a piece of that foam, the noodle, on there as well, and you put it through the handle on the tote. You take the other end and you put it in the back of your vehicle and you shut the door. If it's a hatch, or if it's a regular trunk, same thing. Because for one, with a tow hitch, on a car, you're going to have the tote basically horizontal. And again, if the lid's not closed, you're going to have trash fall all over the place. It didn't make sense to me. And getting a hitch installed on a vehicle can be expensive. So no, you don't have to do that. You can spend $6 to $8 and problem solved. There's a variety of different ways. You don't have to put a hitch on your vehicle. I found that to be absolutely ridiculous, to be honest with you. There's a variety of different ways, and if you are one of those people that have 100, 200, 300 foot driveway or something like that, on maybe an unaccepted road, or which has got to be an incredibly small percentage of the population, that's an easy fix right there, an easy way to do it. And the reason I used the little foam thing, because it shuts inside and it did no damage to the vehicle. And I went very slow. Some people actually took a wooden dowel, one of my neighbors, and drilled a hole on each end and put the rope through there, and that stabilized it a little bit more. If you want to go the extra distance and do that just to make it a little more secure, you can, but it made it very easy to bring the tote down and then bring it back at the end of the day. So anyway, that's it on that. If you haven't seen that video, it is on, I think, Pittsfield Community Television maybe, or City Hall's website. I was blocked from City Hall's Facebook page. I meant Facebook page. I was blocked from there for a couple of years, which you're not supposed to do that with anybody. But Mayor Marchetti, when I did reach out to him a couple months ago, had me unblocked. So I thanked him for that. But I was blocked from there before that. So you can go on City Hall's Facebook page, and I believe the video is on there as well. So, all right, that is it for now. I've got a busy day ahead of me at work, but I am going to follow up on this. I'm going to reach out to Casella, and again, if someone shares this or this gets to Commissioner Morales and he would like to do a short interview, I could meet him, or we could do a Zoom thing. I like doing it in person, and maybe answer some of those questions through here for the people that do have more questions with that. Why the size that we're using and that kind of thing. And no, you don't have to. The people that panicked about the toe hitch, you don't have to do that. I'm telling you, it's better to do it the way I said, because you'd have the container up on a higher angle. So and it's very inexpensive to do that. Like I said, $5, $6, $7, something like that is what I spent. Maybe with inflation, it's 10 now, but those noodles can't cost more than a couple dollars still. All right, so that is it for now. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, be kind to each other, and you know, I'll follow up with this and I'll catch you all in the next day or two.